Girl dad and your responsibility as a father. What makes being a girl dad so important?
Man, I think honestly, being a girl dad is more beneficial to me than it is to her. I think before I had my daughter, I got to a point in my life where I view women differently. You get what I'm saying? We all get to college, we start wilding out, and we don't respect the women as much as we should. We forget about our mothers, we forget about our sisters. But then when God blesses you with a child, it changes your whole view on, what's coming up and what do I got to teach my daughter and how I need to protect her from us. You get what I'm saying? And not even protect her, but just school her. You know what I'm saying? So that I tell a lot of people I was meant to have a girl because it softened my heart towards women in general.
And what about you, Sean?
I mean, being a girl dad, it's just different. You know what I mean? Like when you sit in that room and you find out, is it a boy, is it a girl? My whole mentality is protective mode. How many pistols we got to get? Because you already know, because when you get to that certain level or that certain stage, we all, man, we know what man's intentions are. So my goal is to provide her all the things that she ever want from a guy, so she's not looking and seeking out from other people.
Nice. What about you, Will?
Same thing. I mean, thinking about the first time I held her, man, it was kind of crazy because what O said, like, as a male, we had to point out women. Even being married, you still a male, like, regardless. And so when I had my daughter, it kind of changed everything from the perspective of my marriage and how I treat my wife on a daily basis, not just in like a year to year or a general thing.
Right.
And for me, it's just like I just want to, the same thing with Sean said, I just want to be that guy for her so she's not looking for other guys and she knows what a guy's supposed to look like.
You set an example.
Yep.
You set an example for the man you want her to eventually meet. What about you, baby?
I think when I first held my daughter and when I was waiting for her to get here, I have been spending a lot of time on like Twitter. I follow a lot of like women, what I would call just strong women, opinionated women who take up space, whatever. And like I was thinking, I just want that for my daughter. Like I want to raise a monster of a daughter. You know what I mean? I don't want somebody who playing small or trying to get in where they fit in. You know what I mean? Or are trying to take up space that we have allotted women historically. You know what I mean? I want her to punch dudes in the mouth. Not even like literally. I want her to be a force to be reckoned. Yeah, and so I don't want to raise her to be small and gentle and whatever if that's not what she wants to be. You know, and so or like I think about when I was growing up, I feel like my sister had a curfew of like 10 and my curfew was 2, and it's like, but what I mean, she's not inherently safer. You know what I mean? Or I'm not more safe than she is. So I mean, I want to raise my daughter as much as I can, like I would my son.
Okay. So, describe how unique your relationship with your daughter is.
So my daughter, literally now, my daughter shapes all of my thoughts, my direction, my goals, anything I do now. She's always in the front of my mind. I can't even say in the back of my mind. So me and her, it's just like, I'm not going to say we're best friends because I don't want to be best friends with my kids. But we have a tight relationship, and she's the one person, she's my mom too, but she's one person that I know no matter what I do, she's always going to love me, man. I could get on her, I could fuss at her, tell her she's so wrong.
Unconditional love.
She'll be hurt for 2 minutes and come back and kiss my arm and be like, Daddy, big arm. I want big arm, Daddy. But that just taught me, like you said, unconditional love, man. And it just makes everything so much better, and it makes your vision more clear.
And Sean, you have a son too.
Yeah.
So how is your daughter? How are you and your daughter's relationship more unique? With your son in comparison with your son.
I think you got to be a little more gentle to the girl, right? So like my son is 10 months, he fall cool, get up, right? But even with the girl, like to what he was saying earlier, like I want that beast mentality too. So if she fall, like my wife might be, all right, make sure she alright, she good. You know what I mean? Because you want to create that mentality that you can get up and nothing you can put down. Because you're going to face that in life. But a relationship, what you said, is like totally different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a surprise guy. Every time she sees me, it's a surprise. I say, what does my dad got for me? What does he have for me? What does he have for me? Like, she's waiting. You know what I mean? You got to keep that mentality in everything you do.
Now, Will, how has the death of Kobe and him being a girl dad with multiple daughters, like, how did his death and the aftermath of his death and the heightened perception of being a girl dad, how did that affect you?
It affects me even more now because I'm having a second daughter. I just found out a couple months ago.
Congratulations.
So for me, it's just like I got one already, and we already talked about how like precious they are. But to the same thing, we want them to raise in a certain manner. Like the same thing, my daughter fall, I'm like, get up, you okay, shake it off. But at the same time, I'm giving her a hug to know that she's loved and that somebody loves her. Biggest thing for me is just being present. Kobe was present, like he did his thing, but after that he was focused on all the best. His focus was the girls, and so that's my main thing is just being as focused as possible with my daughter and my soon-to-be daughter.
I mean, how did Kobe's death affect you?
Man, I think I think it's a lot. Like I would want to have the level of impact, in the event of my demise that Kobe's had. You know what I mean? Like, what a shame it would be to die and your family not miss a beat. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he wasn't here anyway, or he wasn't tapped in, or he wasn't, invested in my life or whatever. I would want not for it to be disrupted. I would want for there to be a gap. You know what I mean? For there to be something that they were getting from me that they're gonna have to find somewhere else now. And so
I think presence is invaluable, right?
And
like kids don't care what you got. They don't care what money you got.
They don't know
about the clothes you got on. They just want their dad, their present, right?
Yeah.
You just show up with no haircut for 3 weeks, they won't notice. You know what I'm saying? They just want that unconditional love that you can provide. You know what I'm saying?
Like you say that, bro, I always, like, every time somebody about to have a kid, a lot of people reach out to me on different platforms or whatever, and they be like, yo, man, like, I'm about to be a parent, like, what should I do? I said, be there. Yeah. Like,
be present.
That's the biggest thing you can do for your kid is be in their life and be present. Now, trying, of course, to be good, but your kid, like you said, just wants you there. Like you said on that relationship thing, I was thinking about something. My relationship with my daughter was formed 2 years before I had her. And this is how I just know certain things. She was meant to be a part of my life. I had a dream one night, and I woke up emotional, bro. And I'm not really too emotional of a person, but when I woke up emotional, in my dream, a little girl walked up to me, called me daddy. I said, tell me you love me. She said, tell me you love me. And I woke up and I was just like, dang, man. And I called somebody and I was like, man, I just saw my daughter. So, when my baby mom got pregnant, bro, she was like, yeah, I'm having a baby. I said, it's a girl. And ever since then, I was, I had loved her and thought of she was in the back of my mind 2 years before I even met her. I knew
you had a spiritual connection with your child before your child was born.
That's real though, because like you talk about presence. The first thing my daughter do when she wake up is say, "Daddy, Daddy." Like she don't see me, "Daddy, Daddy, where you at?" And like that goes back to that unconditional love. Like regardless of what I do, what I buy her, she loves gifts. She loves she expects me to buy her stuff. But at the end of the day, all she care about is my presence and me being there when she wakes up and knowing that I'm present in her life.
AB, how has your daughter pushed you to be more empathetic?
You know what? And I think it's an indirect thing because I think my daughter pushes me to do that to her mom. You know what I mean? Because you got the mother who has carried the child, right? Delivered the child, the aftermath or afterbirth, whatever. And none of those things are things that I've experienced personally. But I have more access to this person than I have anybody else, right? And so if you are lucky enough to be with somebody or blessed enough to be with somebody who's vocal about their experience, then they'll keep you in. And so like my wife, she's not gonna not let me know. You know what I mean? And so I think there's a certain amount of softness I think that you all have talked about that I had to develop to be responsive to those things. And I don't think it would have happened as quickly or as effectively as it would have without my daughter.
What about you, son?
That's a good question. I think for me, like, it allows me to be less selfish. So like my daughter's demanding too. Like you said, they're young. Like she's 3 years old. She doesn't know right from wrong or when's the right time. So she's not like, no, this is the right moment for you to ask. You could be in the bathroom brushing your teeth and pop, 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 pop. Daddy, I gotta use the bathroom. She got her own bathroom. But it's like, yeah, she at home, your bathroom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think so realizing, I gotta soften this up. You know what I mean? Because with my son, let him try. I'm like, man, get out of here. You know what I mean? But it's the girl. She like, let me give me a second. You make things happen for her. So it's definitely allowed for me to understand, like, I need to probably be less selfish and not do a thing.
That's real though, because sometimes I get on my phone or watching TV, you just space out and you in your zone. My daughter will clap. Like, she said something the third time, she'll start clapping. Like, Daddy, you better pay attention. And like, I tell her, like, well, you better stop clapping at me by the end of the day. And she just want my focus. That's kind of dope.
Right.
That's real.
And so how has, and anybody can piggyback over this, how has the relationship with your parents whether it was a strong relationship or the lack thereof, affected your ability to love your daughter and raise your child in a certain type of way?
I mean, I got a very quick answer. My dad, very present in our household, and my sisters don't hesitate to call him, and I just want that. You know what I mean? So it's something I aim for. I want to be the very first person that they think to call when they need somebody.
And I think for you, I was the opposite, bro. Like, you know, my dad wasn't around when I was growing up. You know, I probably saw him maybe twice a year, if that, you know, talk to me. But I always had that motivation. When I become a father, well, my daughter's gonna know me. She gonna know that she can talk to me anytime. And whenever she picks up that phone call and I need to get there, I'm gonna be there. And it just makes me like that more like vigilant at being.
You kind of look at it as in a competitive nature, like like you take pride in, like, you know what, like my daughter calls, I'm gonna be there.
I don't even know if it's a competition, bro, but like it even like I told you in another episode, it made me address my dad because I noticed what I did. You know what I'm saying? Me and my dad have a great relationship now, but it took for me to be a dad to realize what I did, what I sacrificed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And what it really takes to be there present and just to do everything for your daughter that you could possibly provide. And not just my daughter, if I ever have a son or another daughter one day, it's still gonna be the same motivation.
What about you, Sean?
Yeah, mine's different. Like very similar to you. Like I think about childhood. You know, like my childhood didn't have no emotion. It had no emotion. Like if you look and granted they you know they took care of it and whatnot, but it was a different type. Like you know how you watch like Spartan 300?
Yeah.
Like I was like that. Like yeah, we're gonna get you where you need to go and boom, you're out there, right? And we trained you to go do your thing. So I think about how can I bring
It was very
emotion.
objective. Like,
Yeah, it was like, yeah, we're gonna get you right, but you do your thing. so that's how like with my daughter, I think about having my son too. What can I give them that I didn't have? That I kind of low key wish I did have because it has impacted how I move. And that's the emotion, man. So I pay attention to little things. I get hugs. I pay attention to the I love yous. I know they add up after a while.
last question. How has your daughter made you a better man? Like, think about that question. Not how it's made you a better father, right? Because you all talk definitely about how your daughter has made you a better father in general, but a better man, the person that walks this earth, a better citizen, somebody who's, takes pride in the things that they do, becoming a master of your craft. How has your daughter made you a better man?
I think men serve. You know what I mean? I think when I think about manhood, I think about service. Yeah. And I think it's impossible to be a good dad to anybody and not be a servant first. You know what I mean? So my skills as a servant have been sharpened by having my daughter, and I would say that's how she's helped me become better.
She made me selfless. Without my daughter, I don't write the book. The book is not about me, it's for helping other people. And so ever since I had her, it's about continuing my best to try to help as many people as I can.
Nice.
Exactly. Like you said, selfless, but I know my daughter models everything that I do. My daughter has unofficially had 3 businesses and made profit every single time. And that's because I talk about entrepreneurship. I talk about my goals. She also, she's really big on giving back and doing for others and taking care of other people.
She's seeing that.
I know every single step that I take. Even, if people look at my Instagram, bro, I don't do too much because I know my daughter look at it. Man, she saw a black flag on the wall one time and she was like, Daddy, I heard you cuss. It just makes me more aware of how I walk around, how I carry.
You got a fly on the wall.
Yeah. Your kids watch everything.
Yeah.
They need to talk.
She can tell everything.
For me, man, to wrap it up, man, it's all about legacy. Like my daughter, I wanted to create something. Like a lot of people don't know this. I've done this podcast, it's all cool and dandy. But that would have never happened, like you said, without my daughter. I took a corporate job, followed $80,000, and I said I'm gonna drive 6 hours away from my family, follow it for $80K. So I followed this job and I started listening to podcasts, and I had to stay up, otherwise I was gonna go to sleep and kill myself. So I listened to these podcasts, I created this podcast, but I heard none of that would ever happen. But the crazy part about it is people say, why are you so consistent? Why you keep doing it? I can die tonight. You got 100+ episodes of hearing my voice. Yeah. I could die tonight. You got brand deals. So for me, without her, there's nothing. There's no legacy. That's what it does.
And to sum it all up, I think, even though I'm not a father, but you heard the fellas say, being a girl dad is unique. It's a precious time that shapes you and molds you as a man. It makes you look at life from a different lens. It forces you to tunnel your energy into something special. It pushes you to grow businesses, establish yourself, even look yourself in the mirror on a daily basis because you know you have a fundamental responsibility to not only a child, but to a daughter who is looking at you as, okay, eventually this is the model of the man I want to date. You know, AV hit it on something that's very important. You know, all the work you put in over the last, you know, up to 20 plus years, when your daughter is a young adult and she runs into a problem, you're going to take pride in that 20-year investment that she calls you and says, I have this problem. Can you mentor me on this? I have this problem. Dad, what do you think about this guy that I'm dating? Like that unique relationship that you want to form, fellas, you all are investing in sowing a seed, right? That eventually you're going to reap a harvest that is going to be something that you can hang your hat on and show pride in, right? Because it's not nothing that you're going to get monetary value in. It's really going to be like an intrinsic thing that you have inside that you check the box and say, you know what? I did a good job. You know, as men, that's one of the best feelings you can have. Yeah. You know, with anything that you accomplish in life, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I put everything into it. I did a good job. I'm proud of myself, and this is the residual effects of that. You can only hang your hat to that. So thank you all for being girl dads.
One request before we since we're talking about our daughters, can we just all just special shout out our daughters?
Yeah, give a shout out to the babies, man.
We always saying people's names, but I just want to say, Jayla Kamari Ball, I love you to death, and you are special and you're needed in this world. That is a
Zoe, you'll always be daddy's snuggle booger. To Zaria, I can't wait to meet you.
Nice.
Yeah. Belly, you a gangster. You're gonna be a monster just like your daddy. I love you so much. You're funny, you're smart, brilliant, ferocious, and I want all those things to last a lifetime. And I got you.
Hey man, you can do anything. You have everything. You are everything. Nobody can stop you.
Girl dad.